Hi, friends. I am Amy Lajeunesse from Highly Sensitive Parenthood, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about three signs of overwhelm and overstimulation for highly sensitive parents. So you might have noticed the words sensitivity, overwhelm, overstimulated, rage, irritability coming to mind when you think about your experience as a highly sensitive parent. And these are all connected. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about how we know those things are coming up, how we recognize them in our body and in our mind and our behavior, so that we can compassionately attend to them. So it's not just pointing out the flaws and the challenges we're looking at, but also when we notice that things are off track for us, how do we take better care of ourselves instead of like maybe feeling guilty or feeling putting labels on ourselves like, why am I such an angry mom? We can instead notice, hey, these are just rooted in overstimulation. I am overstimulated. I may be under resourced. And we can attend to ourselves. We can care for ourselves or ask for support and help in those moments rather than just blaming it on ourselves. So, today is just about kind of noticing and becoming aware of how that overstimulation shows up for us uniquely. So, what does it look like for you? I know for me, sometimes it is irritability. Sometimes it is kind of like a deer in the headlights kind of feeling. Sometimes it is that like brain fog. And you might notice too that some of these sensations or these like warning signs are brought on by sensory overstimulation. Think about like bright lights, loud music, competing demands, like sticky textures. For me, sometimes it's like carrying something heavy, like feeling something heavy on my back or neck, can do it for me in not a good way. So everyone's kind of like triggers around that are unique. But noticing what it shows up for you is really important. So I'm going to talk about three different things. One is physical sensations in your body. Two is foggy or irrational thinking. And three is irritability or withdrawal. Any of these we might feel guilty about, but the point is not to feel guilty. The point is just to notice them as warning signs. Just like when a toddler has a tantrum, it's usually a sign of like they're sleepy, they're hungry, they need a hug, and usually we need those things too. So physical sensations, what might that look like? When we're overstimulated, our bodies can go into fight, flight, or freeze. And there's other responses, including fawn. So more on that another time, but that's about kind of like uh, being small, like trying to fit in, trying to care for somebody else so that we are not threatened. So kind of a complex topic for another time. But even a sort of innocuous threat, like for me, a lot of and for a lot of HSP parents, like being tapped feels really yucky. So I know for me, when my children were a little younger, if I would get like this sort of like, mommy, 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 like it did not take much for me to get into that fight, flight, or freeze in that moment. And we can feel really badly about that we don't want to react to our kids, of course, in like a what kind of way. But our body is perceiving that, not our child, but kind of like the sensory aspects of it as threatening or overstimulating in some way. So you might notice things like a rapid heartbeat or sweating or a tightness in your chest or in your muscles. And those feelings, those physical sensations, obviously can make it difficult to attend to our kids. It can make it difficult to attend to ourselves and whatever needs to be done in the day. So ideally, when we notice those sensations, and sometimes the causes of them, we want to address them. So, for example, with the mommy, I taught my son at a pretty young age, hey, that makes my body feel like stressed out. It makes my heart beat faster. It makes it hard for me to listen to you when I'm feeling this on my arm at the same time. So you choose the language that works best for you. And I gave him another option. I said, instead, can you please place your hand once gently on my shoulder? That shoulder felt better for me than other parts of my body. And say, excuse me, mommy. And then wait. and I will pay attention to you as soon as I am able to. So that was a nice kind of swap for me. But it was important first for me to understand. I had to work backwards. Okay, I'm feeling irritated. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling tense. Why is that? Oh, it's this sensory input. And then I could problem solve it. If I was just starting with that, like I'm irritated and snapping at my son, I'm not going to problem solve it. So that's why I'm sharing this information with you so you can make some of those same shifts. The second part is foggy or irrational thinking. And this can show up with hormonal shifts as well. Again, whole other topic. But when we're stressed or overstimulated, it's pretty common for us to have less mental clarity. This can show up in different ways. We might have difficulty making decisions. We might have irrational thoughts or emotions, a sense of brain fog, and our level of higher level thinking just gets kind of compromised. And so that can be a warning sign that we're overwhelmed or overstimulated as well. Lastly, we have irritability or withdrawal. This is one that people commonly feel really guilty about. Why did I snap at my kids? Why can't I just enjoy them? Why am I out of patience at the end of the day? So this can intensify if we get stuck in overwhelm or overstimulation. You might find yourself responding to like loved ones, your kids, or other people with irritability or rage, which can be very baffling because as HSPs in general, we are really empathic. We are typically like pretty kind people. We're thoughtful people. And so when we notice that anger or that irritability or that desire to withdraw, it can feel like we are not being kind or not being nice. And that can really kind of take a toll on how we see ourselves as parents. So similarly, many highly sensitive parents have this desire to kind of escape. That's the like flight response, right? It can manifest as this like jittery energy. It can manifest as a desire to just like get out to your car and drive away. Or I will say during COVID, I had a lot of clients hiding in their closets or their bathrooms, which I'm laughing about, but genuinely, like that was the only space, that was the only time that they could get to themselves. And that is a real need for highly sensitive people, is that downtime, that alone time, that mental and physical quiet so our bodies can recalibrate. And so again, when we notice that irritability or withdrawal, we can judge ourselves, or we can say, okay, this is a warning sign. This is telling me I need something. I need to slow down. I need to take a break. I need to ask for help. I need to take care of my body, whatever it is. I know these things are easier said than done, but this is a good place to start for you. So I am curious to hear from all of you. How do you experience overstimulation or overwhelm as a parent? Do you know kind of what your common triggers are? Do you know how it shows up in your body? Do you tend to withdraw? Do you tend to like become a little more manic, not in a clinical sense, but a little more like intense and like want to people please? Do you tend to feel like just kind of dissociated and glazed over? What does it look like for you? I'm really curious to hear because every HSP is different. But if we can acknowledge that these experiences are part of being a highly sensitive parent, that's the first step towards taking better care of ourselves and towards reducing the amount of time, the intensity, the frequency, and the duration of those periods where we are feeling off, where we are feeling overstimulated. And that is something that is beneficial for everybody, for yourself, first and foremost, for yourself, and then also for your family and your loved ones. So feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear from you, how you experience overstimulation. If you have any questions for me, I'm here for you too.